to Big Blend Radio's World Party. We love to have our world parties. It's all about wine, travel, food, music, you name it. And we're very excited to have Marisa Hammerbeck back on the show. Marisa and her husband Gunnar are avid world travelers, and they're the creators of the most awesome bag in the world. It is the PortoVino tote bags, backpacks. Basically, they're stylish, and you can carry your wine anywhere you want and keep it cold. And you can just pour it nice and stealth wherever you want, and nobody has to know unless you misbehave. But anyway,
right.
You can carry up to 1.5 liters of your favorite beverage in this bag, nice and insulated. No one knows. We've been very stealth. We've done radio shows in places where they didn't know, except for the giggles. But anyway, we're very excited to have Marisa back on the show. The last time she was on the show, she was on a world party too, talking about, hey, I'm on my way to Greece. Her and Gunnar and their family went there, and now we're going to catch up to see where they went. And I've seen some of the photos, and I'm already jealous. But before we bring her on, I encourage you to go to their website, porto-vino.com, because you need to join the club because it'll change your life to be able to have wine everywhere you want. Marisa, welcome back. How are you?
Great. Hi, Lisa and Nancy. So fun to be back on with you.
You too. My gosh, it looks like you had an awesome summer.
Oh, my goodness. Like, Greece is definitely pretty magical, special place.
Oh, man. It looks beautiful. Have you been there before? Or
no,
is this your first time?
We hadn't, and we always try to find a place over the years to kind of expose our kids to traveling and get them to share the passion that we have for traveling too. At least, an appreciation for it. What you were saying in the last segment really resonated, just being so socially and culturally aware no matter where you go, right? Whether you're in the ocean or in somebody else's country, you respect the way they do things. But so you know what? So we decided to go to a place this time where we hadn't been, and Greece was it, and it was really difficult kind of trying to plan it because there are 6,000 islands in Greece.
Wow.
Whoa.
I know. I was shocked. I mean,
wow.
I think it's 227 or something like that. They're actually inhabited, but still, even 227. When you're going for a few weeks, you think where do I start? So we ended up just we hit up Athens, and of course, which is just historically phenomenal. But and then we picked 4 different islands to go check out, and I don't think you can go wrong. They're just magical. They really are.
Wow, man, it looks so beautiful because the photos you sent of Crete look like you're out hiking in some jungle somewhere in a way with the beautiful cliffs and a waterfall kind of gorges, and then all of a sudden here the other ones like Santorini with this beautiful blue water and the whitewashed walls of the buildings, and everything seems round there, instead of square house, little boxes on the hillside. They don't have boxes. They're just all kind of. It looks like they worked with nature in their architecture.
They really did, and they're really unique, and they have a history of just constant turmoil and turnover, over the centuries in terms of invasions. And so even their homes, it's really interesting because a lot of them are built where because of the invasions and the pirates coming in, they would have really small doors in a lot of places because it would give the people that were in the house an advantage because the people invading would have to duck, and then they'd kind of get them, to be able to go into their homes, and so the people in the home would kind of be able to knock them on the head, whatever, But really architecturally super interesting, and all the whitewash and the buildings with the colorful blues and pinks, and just really spectacular. So.
Is it this? How do you pronounce this? Is it Cycladic Greek island? Cyclid?
Yeah, I know Cycladic. Cycladic islands, exactly.
It's hard to say when you're having a PortoVino-with-a-View right now.
Right? Or you need more PortoVino, and then you feel really confident.
That's
right. Yeah, you're right.
But no, so yeah, right. That's they're more like the islands east of Athens, or the mainland, are the Cycladic islands. So and there are, obviously quite a few of them, but quite a few places to bring the Portovino along, as you were saying, which
of course.
You definitely have found some fun places to bring yours as well, which has been really fun to see.
I'm like, I don't know. I think Nancy and I are a little jealous of you guys now, but I just want to remind everyone that, this PortoVino-with-a-View, Gunnar and Marisa have sent us on this Mission Possible story series. A number of people, it's kind of like a treasure hunt across America. Not only are we documenting parks, I mean, just here in Colorado, we've done 30 parks already. In the last 3 months, we've probably done over 60 parks or something ridiculous. And wait.
It's a lot of Portovino.
People have sent us out on all these different story missions, and Gunnar and Marisa said, okay, you're going to go get as many PortoVino-with-a-View, which we're like, yay. And I have to tell you, we have so many that we're actually creating a map for everybody. Like, you're going to have a map that people can click on the place and see the PortoVino-with-a-View with a description of where we were. They can go to that park and do the same thing. We have so many. I mean, we've been in the swamps with the Portovino. We've been Rocky Mountain High with the Portovino. We've been in sand dunes. We've been in ancient cliff dwellings. I mean, it's kind of crazy what you can do with the Portovino, but no one knows, And sometimes it's water, just so everyone knows. Like, sometimes it's water.
Exactly. I wanted to point that out. It's it can be flexible with what your mission is, right? Like, I know you do a lot of hiking, so obviously, unless you're going for the celebratory, like, post hike drink of wine, that's one thing, but otherwise, waters that, like you were saying, in Crete during that hike, it was just great to have the Portovino along with the water bladders kind of there to help us out along the way and keep us refreshed. So, but it's been phenomenal watching some of your journeys. It's great that you chronicle it, because I would imagine otherwise it'd be hard to keep track of all the beauty.
Well, right now we're like a little overwhelmed. It's been 3 months. In a couple of days we go back to Yuma, Arizona. So we're going to be back in your land, in the world of Arizona, the beautiful state of Arizona. And we've been going through all our footage, and it's absolutely insane. January we'll have a special book just documenting every park that we've been through this year, and people will see PortoVino-with-a-View. There's just so much. And our country is really beautiful, and the people are really nice. Everybody forget what's going on social media and everybody bashing each other and what's going on with the news. Just get out there, and
talk to real people.
Go to picnic spots, and you'll end up talking to people, and the birds will come hang out with you, and it's a much friendlier life. I'm just saying.
No kidding. Yeah, that's such a great point. It doesn't matter where you go, and all the media and the news, it's been going on for years, right? They paint a picture of just how horrible and dangerous, and so many people feel, I'm sure you get this, right, where you tell people you're going somewhere and they tell you, oh my goodness, you're going there, and then you go and you're like, it was wonderful, everybody's so friendly. There's it's such a different world than what people want to portray on social media or in the news, because I guess that doesn't sell. It doesn't sell as well as the reality of what mostly is going on.
I think people need PortoVinos-with-a-View, more and more of that. Nancy and I, it's like just being able to be outdoors with your wine or water. And the cold water thing is an issue. And seriously, we learned that the Portovino bags, we did some crazy drives, long distance drives on this last trip, and we drove from central Kentucky all the way back to southern Colorado. That's kind of like a crazy drive. And sometimes you're not stopping as much. You don't want to buy a bunch of plastic, And so there is a thing. That Portovino bag of water will keep nice and cold. And if you can filter your water and you can pour it in there, you filter it when you're in a hotel room, then you pour it in the baggie, then that's how you keep yourself restocked, and it works. Right. And you can stick them in hotel fridges, and sometimes you can take the little baggies and put them, if they have a freezer in there, which is rare. But when they do have those little freezers and the little mini fridges, like you're so
that
lucky
helps.
you can just like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, I did a naughty nunu with the Portofino backpack the other day. Well, there was a thing. We went to the Garden of the Gods, and I'll tell you, we did not have wine in the Garden of the Gods because when they founded the Garden of the Gods, the gentleman who set this land bought this piece of land. When he passed, his family opened it up because of their father's, will to like, hey, I want this for the public. These beautiful rock formations, these red rock sandstone formations. He wanted it for the public. It's a free park for everybody, but no alcohol. So we behaved. We did not take alcohol with us. However, I did have my Portofino backpack, and we passed the liquor store because that's where you get your wine in Colorado. By the way, you cannot buy in grocery stores. You can only buy beer in grocery stores. It's a whole new thing. It's a whole new world. And we bought a bottle of wine, and let me tell you, I managed to pretty much fit it in the little insulated pocket and kept it cool because we're like, hey, there's another park on the way home because we didn't have our Portofino time. So I was able to rig up a nice cold glass of wine, and it kept it cold, even without the baggies. I'm just telling you.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Mm.
No, yeah. I think once you have them, once you have the Portofino, you can come up with so many different angles to, places that you use that you wouldn't think of. Like I went tubing with a group of people, and you're out. It's in Arizona, right? So it's hot right now, like hitting 110 degrees, and so you're out there on a tube. And granted, the Salt River is nice and cold, but you still need to keep hydrated. So we had one Portofino backpack, and I actually what we call those reservoirs that you actually place the liquid, your beverage in. We call it our party pouch, and as Lisa mentioned, it holds 1.5 liters of any beverage. So we actually had a reservoir, a party pouch, filled with water for each person, and we put them all in the backpack. And so everybody had one with their name on it. And then when we were thirsty, we actually just grabbed the bag. It was so great because when you're done, you don't have a plastic bottle or anything to worry about. It's so compact, and that was a lot of fun. But going back to Greece, and this is the neat thing about Europe, I think it's important. Drinking wine is not. There's no encouragement of overindulging or anything like that with the Portofino, but it's really just about if you're, in a place where it doesn't make sense to where you have to hold the bottle, or carry a bottle, and you like to pour yourself a drink somewhere. This is a great alternative where you have a purse you can use all day long, and then when you are going out at night or you're meeting up with friends or whatever, you could put the wine inside the party pouch, and it, as Lisa mentioned, it discreetly gets placed into a hidden zippered compartment inside the bag. So you don't have to. It's kind of a little classier way to pour yourself a drink while you're out. But the neat thing about Europe is there just is no. There's no, in most of the world, right? There aren't these preconceived notions about having a glass of wine is, any sort of indication that you're going to drink and drive or anything like that, So there they appreciate that just drinking wine is part of life. It's just part of, just like having a piece of chocolate cake. That's something I definitely enjoy, but I wouldn't eat the whole cake. So
exactly.
For us, Portofino is about that togetherness and connection. And, if you're going to, have 2 bottles of wine in there, we're assuming you're going with friends and you're all going to enjoy each other's company, and it's going to be a great, kind of time out. But in Greece, when you're pouring a glass of wine, and people are like, oh, that's amazing, that's great. And it's just such a natural part of, the culture there that, drinking wine, that it was fun because people just got really excited. They get excited here, too, but there is no, people didn't look at you either and say, oh, I don't drink wine, It's like, oh okay,
yeah. It's part of life. South Africa, Gunnar will say the same thing. The wine and beer is part of your daily food. It's part of mealtime,
Yeah.
But it's also in a lot of other cultures that we've experienced, when you're having a glass of wine, you are drinking slowly. You're not slamming it back.
Absolutely.
and it is about, hey, let's take a moment out, let's all relax,
Mhm.
calm down, enjoy the wine, and normally people don't even talk for a little bit.
Mm.
They're tasting
Right.
the wine, they're drinking the wine, and
Yeah.
that's a little different than sometimes in this country where people just throw it back and where's my next one
Right.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and wine is something to drink slowly.
Yeah, it's really
And
it's something to enjoy, and so good, like and I think it's come a long way here in America too,
Mhm.
where there's that pairing it with things, and really because
Mhm.
it really is like eating, like I can't go backwards with thinking about like bread and cheese and wine. It just
Mm.
there's no greater
it's the
little
best.
And
combination.
It's
It's
the
olives.
like
best.
That's
yeah.
what I want to ask about Greece because I know the photos you've got you like your tote bags and you've got the
Mhm.
backpack and everything. So you were mixing and matching everything around. But when you were there, like what were you drinking? Like because you're not bringing like American wines on a plane to Greece, right? I know
Right.
you guys are world travelers. You're like, okay, let's try this here. So what were you enjoying in the Portofino? What kind of wines?
Well, I have to be very honest, and I am no wine connoisseur, but I definitely like, to enjoy wine. So, we would just go to the local grocery store, and it was interesting because
Mhm.
I would never have thought that there are little wine region pockets and, on the different islands because so much agriculture that goes on, and it's really kind of, like sustainable agriculture there. So they'll have like all these little vineyards, and so it was fun to just try whatever was locally
Mm,
recommended to us. So
cool.
yeah, we had a really good time. Same with the food as well. Like there was so much. Just everything was just fresh, and that it's phenomenal when you whether it's like meat or vegetables, and you just eat it, and it just is just premium, and you think like, wow, what did you do to this? And it was made, it was picked today, it was, harvested, today. It just makes such a difference when it's all just local and fresh like that. So, yeah, between
Yeah.
the wines and the food, it was just really everything was just delicious.
Yeah, because
Hmm.
I've watched things on some of the oldest people in the world live there, like they live the
Yeah.
longest, and
Right?
it's from the
Yeah.
food. It's a
Mhm.
Mediterranean diet and all of that. It's like, and I don't know if it's the soil, but or that they're
It's
out
the
there
air.
actually growing their own food, that they have their own gardens and stuff. I think it's this healthy lifestyle, and I'm hoping like we start to get a little bit better at that. I see it across the country. I mean, when we were in Arkansas. Little Rock, Arkansas. I couldn't believe the farm to table movement that was
Oh, that's
happening in that city was absolutely incredible. And they were all working together. We went to a distillery. This was incredible. We interviewed the distiller. I could barely speak because I was like, well, I want to try some, and I could barely do the interview. Like really, I had one sip of gin and called it
It
vodka
was
infused with
good.
herbs. I didn't know what I was talking about, but I just
It was
suddenly got like
awesome.
my face went beet red, and I'm like, and this guy is like amazing. Little Rock Distillery. He's the first distillery in the state of Arkansas since Prohibition, which is huge.
wow.
And he had
That
to go
is
change all the laws, and then he changed laws to allow him and his distillery to craft cocktails. He's like, not everybody sits and drinks, gin straight
right.
and vodka
No.
or whiskey and all that. So he had to go and he knows how to get through red tape, and he's done it very
Yeah.
well. And it was really amazing because he doesn't use any ingredients that are beyond 125 miles from him. So everything's
Wow.
Arkansas. The first restaurant we ate at that was outside the hotel was this restaurant, the Root Cafe. It's been on numerous TV shows. They they have a map up on the wall with all the farms where they source their ingredients, and everything was just the
Right.
freshest. It was
Uh,
like it was
that's
really
phenomenal.
cool. And they had a
Mhm.
playground for kids, and I wanted to go play in it.
Uh,
But
but you didn't.
well, it
After
was
one
raining,
sip, there it goes.
and they had a bike rack that was in the shape of a carrot, right? Like that was
That
cool.
was
I thought that
fun.
was like if you're gonna have a
Neat.
bike rack, you'd need that. But like Heifer International comes from there, all that they're all working towards that, and I think our country's starting to get to
Yeah.
getting going back to our roots really, and and finding, like, rediscovering our roots and finding a fresh identity that pairs with it,
Right.
And I think
I
that's
agree.
where the wine comes in. I really do. I
Mhm.
think it gets people outside instead of in front of a TV and they're, the 12 pack of beers and the TV thing. That's not fun.
Right, right. No, it's true. It's like wine is very, social. I feel like it's definitely something that you generally, you get together with friends and you have a glass of wine and talk, and it's just it's definitely fun. And I think, even these days, I feel like there's been such a transformation, like you said, whether it's farm to table, even on the alcohol side, with the distilleries doing their own thing, everything's becoming more micro and just going back to the way it was and focusing on tastes and and flavor and quality. And it really does. If you drink like even a gin that's like super just delicious, or a tequila versus like you really can't. The first time I heard there was something called sipping tequila, I thought, no way, am I ever sipping tequila, right?
But
then you
that's
taste it and you think, wow, this is what tequila. Like, you don't want to drink this fast. Like, you need to drink it slow.
When people distill alcohol on a little basis, a small basis that
batch,
I care about every bottle basis,
Right.
the taste is different from batch to batch. I know there's quality control, but there's a difference between a small batch and a manufactured batch that it is so large and everything is chemically induced to taste exactly the same every time. That is not an experience.
Right. That's true.
It's not, and it's
a
not
good
even,
point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even the same as real drinking. I mean, unless if you're drinking to get drunk, that's one thing. But when it's something that's mass produced is never going to have the integrity of something that's produced on a small level for taste, for quality. You can't be both. You can't.
That's a good. No, it's a really good point. Yeah, and I think going back to the grease, what we drink, it really was like, I'm like I mentioned, I'm not really a big drinker with the kids, so like, for us, we were gone all day, enjoying like grease, right? We get up early and we hit the ground running, and I would generally bring my canvas tote bag with water in it, and then in the evening, because sometimes like we'd go and like walk it to some just viewpoints in the evening to enjoy, and you're there with, whether you're there with a bunch of people or alone, then it's fun to bring something for, we'd had some wine. Generally it was wine, and then with the kids I would bring them something that they would like. They have so many great kind of juice drinks there too, so I would have like the extra party pouch so the kids could have something as well, and then we could all just have like a little some bread or whatever wherever we were, and enjoy it.
Cool.
So
cool. Okay, are the Greek salads in Greece the same as what we're getting here with the feta cheese and the red onions and the olives?
Well, and back to their health, they attribute a lot of it to their olive oil, because they use olive oil so much in everything that they cook. So the Greek salads are much more plain there. I think because really there you get tomatoes, cucumbers, green peppers, onions, cut up, and then a huge block of feta cheese, which is always like just phenomenal feta cheese, and then olive oil, and sometimes they put vinegar in it, and then salt and pepper. So it's really, really like the basics. Whereas here, I think we would probably say the dressing makes them taste better, but then we're taking away probably the really great, because there's sugar added and everything else that.
Dressings are bad, dude. They're the worst.
Bad.
You got to make your own, and that's the hard thing about the tour. Like we are going into parks, having our little wine and whatever, and you know what? That is the hard part. Is like the food part. And now we're like, okay, we when we get to Yuma, man, it's like we're just we'll live on water for 30 days or something. But it's healthy. But then it's like depends on where you shop and stuff,
Yeah.
but I do want to say this. And it was so funny because last night a friend of mine was posting on Facebook. She's in Durango right now, going back to Arizona too, and Durango, Colorado. And she went to some Greek restaurant and had a Greek salad. And that's why I had to ask you this. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so timely. They like fried or grilled a big slab of feta cheese on her Greek salad, and I'm like, I didn't even
Wow.
think about eating it. And then I think
Yeah.
about the quality of feta cheese.
Right.
We have to go to like a specialty store to get like decent feta cheese. It's kind of
Mhm.
like for any
Right.
cheese these days.
Yep.
So the feta cheese had to be like fresh
Hmm.
and good and different. And did they cook it? Did they grill it or anything like that?
No, it was just a big hunk of feta cheese block
Yeah.
that generally came right on top of the salad. So it was everything's
Mm.
just fresh, like
Man.
back to that farm to table. It's just really. I have to ask you though, if you don't mind. I don't know if there's still time, but you had
Mhm.
mentioned something about a breakfast at the Inn of the Governors. I think it was like when you were in Santa Fe, like by the
Yeah.
bay there. And you said, I don't know if you have time, but you had mentioned that you had a fun Portofino story.
Yeah. So, well, okay, but this happened, right? So, okay, now we each have our own backpack. And so one is the official back. It has a little blue ribbon we tied on it, so we know that's the official one. And that's the official photo one. But the other one has become my camera bag. My original backpack, which was hard for me to give up because I'm weird about stuff. It's like I'll wear things until they have holes in them. And now that is the shoe bag. See, this is everyone. We live on the road, so this is how it is.
We
You
don't
bring
waste
something and something
anything.
has to go. You don't
No.
waste anything. But
Right.
anyway, so the one Portofino is my official camera bag, and it's interesting. So everywhere we go, this is with me, whether or not we're going to do the wine thing. And so the Inn of the Governors was awesome. We went and had
Hmm.
we checked in there, and it was in Santa Fe. It's a beautiful hotel, like very European. Like they have window boxes with flowers hanging down. It's really beautiful and very southwestern on the
Mhm.
inside. And it started to storm and rain, so they have a sherry hour. So I'm just giving the full backstory here. They have a sherry and cookie hour and tea if
That's
you
so
want to do
cool.
tea. And so we're like, well, that's it. Let's go down and have the sherry hour. We haven't had sherry since South Africa. Like, let's do this. We go down and you have all these tastings and the official New Mexico cookie, and everyone, you'll get the recipe in Big Blend Radio and TV magazine real soon. I can't pronounce it, but it's really good. And so we went down and we started talking to all these different couples who traveling, and I don't know. Then we ended up having dinner with the one couple. The other two hadn't had anything to drink for years and got a little buzzed and went to bed. Just saying, you did. Came back, but breakfast time they put on. Well, they have another restaurant that's on the Margarita Trail. Just saying, Santa Fe has this awesome Margarita Trail. Anyways, we had dinner with them, and this one couple, and taught them about trolls in Norway. I don't know, just crazy stories we all had, travel stories, comparing how high we went on mountain passes in Colorado and why we really needed Portofino at the end of it. So the next morning, we all ended up at breakfast unplanned at the same time, and we were off to Bandelier National Monument. And I was telling them about the Portofino, when we're having our sherry hour. Well, in the middle of the breakfast room, I'm like, I wasn't lying. We're on our way, and I had our wine in my camera bag.
She totally did
We did have
she
wine
did
in
a
Bandelier National
physical
Monument.
she
We
did a
toasted.
physical demonstration
I did,
in front
and
of
I've been
everybody.
doing it. I have been doing it ever since. It just happens. I'm like, I'm not kidding. Look, this is how it works. And I love to lift up the little the backpack. You have the little
Right.
your straps, right? Your arm straps.
Right.
And all of a sudden, I'm like, and here's the best part, ping, and because I always have something in there, whether it's water or wine. And people are like, no way, dude, I can't have one. So now it's like I'm a walking like Portofino demonstrator. You'd be like the Fuller Brush salesman, just from hotel to hotel. This is how it works, people. It makes life easier.
It's so fun to see the reactions, though, isn't it? It's real fun.
Do you do that where then all of a sudden you're like, hey, here it is. It just
Check
pops
this
right out.
out.
Look at that.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it is
Mm-hmm.
like my funny Greece trip is we were on like a little sailboat like sunset cruise, and there are a group of people, Aussies and from all over the place, and I had my tote bag, and so we were just talking. It was funny because it was my son who was like, everybody's drinking wine, and it was just on the part of the boat package that we were on, and my son's like, well, my mom made a PortoVino, made a bag that can pour wine, and they're all like, what? And so he's like, come on, show him, Mom. So I showed them because I had some, some in my tote bag too, not knowing what to expect on the boat, and literally everybody was like, oh my gosh, like where can I buy one? And there was an Australian couple, like specifically, that the guy was just like pulls out like $100. He's like, I need to buy that from you right now. Just like, I was like, okay, well, like let me take out all my stuff. But no, I was like, it was pretty neat. They live in wine country in Australia, so I was like,
wow.
what? I'm not going to charge you for it. I've used it for the last 3 weeks in Greece. This is the last stop. I'm like, it's kind of, it's got I'm little beach dirt from every place I've been to. So I gave it to him, but it's fun because we've kind of been in touch, so, since he's like, we got
That's
so many
cool.
wineries, they'd love it. But it was funny how I was like, okay, I've never experienced this one before.
Well, in January, you should totally come down for this, right? So in January in Yuma is their second annual Bird, Nature, and History Festival. And we've invited a bunch of travel writers to come and be part of this. And so wait until we get in that kayak, and I'll be all like, I know you're cold, but I got something that keeps me warm in the kayak. And I'm going to be like, show and tell. But it's fun. And I want to say this. You can keep food cold. It's not just wine. Because of the insulated pocket, we've put sandwiches and stuff in there. I mean, we've used it for all kinds of, it's actually really good, even for camera stuff when you get into really hot temperatures. I've got one, I work in different things, different cameras or whatever. I'll put it in the insulated pocket just to keep it cooler.
That's it's definitely. And I think you have the ice pack too. I'm sure it's not very convenient when you're on the road to find the freezers to keep it. But we have these ice packs that keep, the insulated pocket's great and works effectively. But we have these really extra, cold packs that you put in the freezer.
I didn't know that.
Oh my goodness! I have to give those to you because it
we need
like cold for ever.
Yeah, we've traveled with those a lot, and then I left them in Natchitoches, Louisiana, because it was one of the first refrigerators in a hotel that had a freezer that I could put them in. And of course, then, that fridge also had a bunch of fried food in it. You can eat out of the gas stations in Louisiana, and it's good. I'm serious. Like, you can live on gas station food. They make you real food, like full on, like, and but now we have to go on we really need to go on a diet, so we might be putting smoothies in our PortoVino.
No way.
Just the Greek salad, right?
Exactly, but it really does help. I mean, when you're traveling full time, especially these long distance drives, I mean, we're going to go from Colorado back to Arizona, and we slow it down and we pace ourselves. We picnic across when we do long drives. Sometimes we'll stay overnight, or sometimes we just keep going. But it's like you want something to keep things. We have a cooler bag too, but it's like there's two different levels. It's like you have your cooler with everything, and then you move it on up. So what you need to grab as you get in and out of the car, you just grab your PortoVino for what you want now. It's very cool.
Yeah,
perfect. That's the best part about it is when we actually put wine in it, which we do all the time, and you go out in nature and you open up the PortoVino and pour wine, birds and animals come.
Mm-hmm.
They really do.
They know.
They smell it. They smell the wine, and they come, and then you just sit and you're like, here's hummingbirds, here's mockingbirds, all kind of birds come out. Sometimes squirrels, other little animals, and they're all like, hey, what you got there? They're all curious.
And that's fun. That's a whole nother marketing angle I never thought of. For the nature lovers, it attracts the animals. That's really cute.
It is.
It works.
Mhm.
Oh,
It
that's
does
And
so
work.
fun.
butterflies. Butterflies.
Butterfly.
Oh, I bet.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's,
that's true. The
They're
sweetness.
winos.
I'll photograph them next time. I'll photograph
Oh,
them
that's
next time.
super.
But park rangers are like, don't feed the birds and don't feed the animals, which you shouldn't, and we don't.
We
And
don't.
Right.
and that's the thing, the birds and animals are kind of like, oh, it's a picnic site. So a lot of times our portovinos are at the end of a walk. We'll be up somewhere
Mm.
depending, but we balanced portovino your cups. And we took our friend Eva, travel writer Eva, where we're staying here in Florence, her house. We went to Great Sand Dunes National Park, and she's looking at us like, you and these portovinos. And then we get out, and she doesn't drink like we do, like no one drinks like we do with wine. I don't know. So we were like, no, we have to have our portovino with a view. We get there, and we have this awesome view overlooking, it was San Luis Lakes National State Wildlife Area, and it overlooks the sand dunes, but with a lake. And then we get
Nice.
into the sand dunes. So we had a picnic there, and then we get into the sand dunes, and we walked across to where the sand dunes were, and it was just too late in the day to go and really do the sand dunes. But came back across. We're looking out at the sand dunes, and I said, "Well, are you ready now?" And then she saw our cups, and she was like bummed because now she's like, "Those are really smart, you're the little Portofino cups." And she's like, "Oh my gosh!" And I'm like, "Well, we don't have one for you, but here's this one instead." But
Oh,
she's like,
that's
"No," but she just. And then I said, "Here, have a little wine." She had just a little bit of wine, and she went, "You know what? This is how to have
Mhm.
wine." And this is it. We just stood there right in this little streamlet thing. A little bit
Mhm.
of water was still flowing through, looking at these giant sand dunes, the tallest sand dunes in the country, going, "Cheers to the dunes." And it was the coolest thing
that's
ever.
nice. That's
So she got
awesome.
like
That's a
that
great visual.
feeling. Yeah,
Yeah,
it,
It's
yeah. It's such
it's
a
a
great visual, and
moment.
that's yeah.
It's a moment of reflection.
Mhm.
That's what it
hmm
is.
Yeah, it really
exactly.
is a time to you kind of get to wherever your destination is, and then you can
Mm.
just relax and enjoy, and
Mhm.
it really is better with a glass of wine, isn't it?
Always,
Absolutely.
Being able to
always.
see that, that's super fun.
All
So
right. Well, listen, we before you go, I just want to say Gunnar is in Costa Rica, right? Is he
he
right
is,
in Costa?
yeah. He's got
Dude.
his Portofino backpack out there too, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he ends up, bringing back. And
Oh
so
my
Gennar's in
gosh.
Costa Rica, and we have some. It's New York Fashion Week right now as well, so we have some fun street artists doing some graffiti on our Portovinos. So we're excited to see what that turns out like as well.
Right
Oh,
on. All kinds of good stuff.
cool.
Well, I can't wait
Yeah.
for you guys to see the map we're working on, for everyone to see it, because now we're just going to keep adding to it. Everywhere we go, you're going to see the Portofino map being updated. We're doing maps. Everything's interactive. We're going to have one big map for every single place we went across the country, every experience for
How cool.
2019. So by January, everyone's going to see this, and you'll see Portovinos. I mean, it's crazy what we're doing, and it's
Oh,
so
I
much
can't wait.
fun.
I can't
So
wait to see
thank
it, and I have to commend you ladies. So what an amazing journey, and I can't wait to see it all like chronicled out, and the copy or the book you had mentioned with the photos. Probably that I can't wait to see that too. It's gonna be amazing.
Well, you're going to see a lot real soon, and we thank you for being part of the experience because it's so much fun, and it really does. It's about slow travel, slow. Chill out,
Yeah.
everybody. Everyone too. I just want you to know that Portovino donates a meal to feed my starving children. So with every purchase, something really good happens for kids around the world. So it's a really cool cause. Go to porto-vino.com. You can also keep up with our tour at loveyourparkstour.com and nationalparktraveling.com. You'll be able to follow our story. Well, you can you see it now starting on nationalparktraveling.com. Just look at our Mission Possible story series there. Marisa, thank you so much, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Have a safe
Cool.
trip back, and hopefully we can get together in Arizona.
That'd be
I know.
awesome.
We're on our way. We're on our way.
With the Portofino and some wine.
Yes, and you
Cool.
know what they do work well in rest areas. Just saying, sometimes you need
Yep.
that. Missouri, by the way, Missouri. Shout out to Missouri and Kansas. Thank you so much for making really clean rest areas and for having
Thank you.
pollinator gardens in your rest areas
Love
with
it.
beautiful gazebos, gardens for the butterflies and hummingbirds and bees, and nice play areas for dogs. Not that we're traveling with dogs, but I have to give a shout out to Kansas and Missouri for the best rest areas that we've seen on
Ever.
our tour so far. Because who would think about doing a pollinator garden? That is the
It's
coolest thing.
awesome.
So
And
neat.
so we just whip out our Portovino right there and go, hi, everybody. Cheers. Watch the flowers and the dogs. It's really cool. So
Perfect.
anyway. All right. You take care, Marisa. We'll
Thank
talk
you,
soon.
Lisa, Nancy. Take care.
You
Cheers.
too.
Cheers.